reference models. So in the computer networks we have two reference models. One is TCP/IP and another one is OSI. Okay, so there are two reference models. One is TCP/IP and another one is OSI. So first we will see the OSI, that is Open System Interconnection. Open System Interconnection. Okay, so this OSI layer, this OSI consists of 7 layers. Those are, first one is it visible? Physical layer. First one is physical layer. Next is data link. Next, network layer. Transport layer. Session, presentation and application. Totally 7 layers are present in the OSI model. Okay, physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, application. Okay, so out of this, so first one is physical layer. So what is this physical layer? So physical layer consists of transmission of bits. Okay, so using zeros and ones. So that is nothing but the for transmission of bits we will use this physical layer. Okay, so suppose if a bit 1 is transmitted from sender to the receiver, at receiving side also we have 7 layers. Physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation and application. So in order, if you transmit bit 1 from physical to from sender to the receiver, so receiver should receive bit 1 at the receiving side. Similarly, if you transfer bit 0, then that means from sender to receiver it should receive bit 0. So this is nothing but the physical layer from the sender to the receiver. Okay, so and here what are the basic design issues to be considered here is, first design issue is, so what is the voltage required to transmit the bit 1? That is the first one. Second one is, what is the voltage required to transmit bit 0? Okay, and what are the different communication media which we will use. For example, the design issues are mainly deal with the mechanical, physical, okay, and electrical. Okay, so those are the design issues being dealt with the physical layer. Okay, so next is data link layer. So the data link layer purpose is, so physical layer is for transmission by cable or optical fiber, etc. Whereas data link layer is, this layer deals with the error control. This layer deals with the error control and flow control. Error control and flow control. Data link layer. So the purpose of here, what data link layer is, it will accept the bits. So if you see here, data link layer is bits. Transmission information is bits. Whereas physical layer is bits and data link layer is frames. That means it accepts the bits from the physical layer and prepares the information which it receives from the physical layer into frames. Okay, so beginning of the frame and end of the frame. So like this, suppose if any frame also contains this control information, then user need to handle it carefully. Okay, so that is one of the important feature here. That is framing the beginning and end of the frame, beginning of the frame and end of the frame, and in between the begin and end of the frame, the actual frame will present. So that is what happening in the data link layer. And here error control and flow control. That means whatever the information it receives from the physical layer, so it should actually transmit as it is without any loss of information. Okay, without any loss of information. So when a loss of information occurs in a computer networks, so it occurs because of noise burst. So due to noise burst, what happens is some of the bits may be missed. So in that case, what happens? You need to retransmit the frame. Okay, so in that way we can do duplication. So and whenever a frame is received by the receiver from the sender, so it will send the acknowledgement. Okay, so clear? So that means not only the error control but also the flow control also. That means whenever a sender is continuously sending the frames to the receiver, but receiver is not in a position to accept all the frames at once. That means it is overwhelmed. Okay, so to handle that situation, that means fast sender and slow receiver. So this situation is also being handled by the data link layer. So that is comes under flow control. So error control means without loss of information, we need to send the data from the sender to the receiver is error control. Okay, whereas to make the flow uniform without overwhelming the receiver, that means whenever there is a fast sender and slow receiver situation is there, so at that time we need to control the flow. So that flow control is being done by this data link layer, error control and flow control. And two types of frames here. Remember, one is a data frame. One is data frame and second one is acknowledgement frame. Acknowledgement frame. Two types of frames are there. So data frame is actually the frame which is developed by the data link layer by putting the beginning and ending. Acknowledgement frame is received by the sender whenever the receiver receives the information successfully. That means reliability. So reliable receiver will send the acknowledgement. Not all receivers will send the acknowledgement. Only reliable receiver will send the acknowledgement back to the sender. So this is nothing but the error control and flow control. And here previously there are only point-to-point networks. Okay, but nowadays broadcast networks are also developed. Okay, so in order to support the broadcast network, so what happens is there is a term called channel allocation. Okay, so this channel allocation is also one of the challenges in the data link layer, and there is a sub-layer in the data link layer called medium access control sub-layer. So that layer will in turn do the channel allocation in case of broadcast networks. Okay, so MAC layer, we can call it as MAC, that is medium access control sub-layer. This is not the actual layer, this is a sub-layer of data link layer, MAC. So this will do the channel allocation for a broadcast networks. Okay, so this is the introduction to data link layer and physical layer. Third one is network layer. So what is the purpose of this network layer? So network layer purpose is, here it is used for routing, first one, and second one is congestion control. So it has two purposes. So one is routing and second one is congestion control. So what is routing? Whenever we send a frame from sender to the receiver, so what happens is it will went through different routers. Okay, so from one router to another router. Okay, and from that router to another third router. So like that, in the network, network is nothing but a collection of routers and subnets. Okay, and transmission lines. So through transmission lines, so it will move, the packet will move from the source to the destination. And remember, in case of physical layer it is bits, and in case of data link layer it is frames, and in case of network layer it is packets. The term is packets. It is a packet which we will send across the network layer. Okay, so packets is a term which we use in network. So various routing and congestion. What is meant by congestion? Congestion means when all the packets when all the packets in one particular node moves in the network, so what happens is all at once all the lines are becoming jammed. So this jammed situation is nothing but a congestion. Okay, how to avoid this congestion? There are different techniques which we will study in network layer in detail. So that is nothing but the congestion control. So network layer purpose is to provide routing and also to provide congestion control. So till here, that means up to physical data link network, the communication is happens through the intermediate routers. That means subnets. Through subnet, okay, so the information will get passed from one end to the another end. Okay, subnet consists of routers, and routers contains transmission lines. Okay, like this. Whereas from transport layer onwards, direct end-to-end connection. End-to-end. From transport layer onwards, the connection between the sender layers at the sender and layers at the receiver is end-to-end. Okay, and the purpose of transport layer is to ensure that there is a control, that is TCP. We will study two protocols and UDP. In transport layer, what we study is two protocols. Those are TCP and UDP. So TCP is nothing but the transmission control protocol. Transmission control protocol, and UDP is user datagram protocol. Okay, there are two types of protocols which we study in TCP in transport layer. One is TCP and UDP. So TCP is transmission control protocol. So what does that mean? This means the connection is reliable and connection oriented. Okay, that means the connection oriented and reliable. So whereas UDP is the connection is connectionless and unreliable. That means ordering is not important. Whereas in case of TCP, ordering of the packets is also important. So whether the packets are received in the same order, whatever the sender delivered the order, so that order is important in case of TCP. Whereas in case of UDP, the order is not important. What is important is only the successfully received by the receiver or not. Okay, so that means in case of video streams, video and audio streams will go for UDP, and in normal connection oriented services will go for TCP, because these are the two different protocols which you study in transport layer. Okay, so transport layer also some part of the transport layer also works on flow control also, not only data link. So here also some part of the transport layer also works for the flow control. Okay, this is about the transport, and here end-to-end connectivity starts from transport layer. Next is session layer. Session layer. So session layer, what is the purpose of this layer? So the purpose of this layer is, the purpose of this layer is token management. Session layer, token management, dialog control, token management, dialog control, synchronization. Synchronization. There are the three different purposes. So dialog control, that means whatever the information we transferred, so it should be transmitted successfully from one end to the another end. And token management, that means whenever there is a more than one process try to access the shared resource, so that means concurrency issues will done by this token management and synchronization. So synchronization also part of the concurrency. Okay, so whenever concurrency issues are there, we will deal with the synchronization and token management techniques. So that is about the session layer. Next is presentation layer. Presentation layer. So this layer is basically used for presenting the information which the user sends from the sending side to the receiving side. That's the only basic thing. There is nothing more about this presentation layer. Afterwards, application layer. So application layer purpose is it will use it to transmit the protocols, like all the protocols like FTP, HTTP, RTP, that is real-time transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, file transfer protocol. Okay, SNMP, okay, simple mail transfer, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol. Okay, so these are the different protocols which are present at this application layer. Okay, so that is about the OSI layer. So basically there are different layers are there. So before going on to all these internals, so what is a layer? First definition is, what is a layer? So why this layer structure is suggested means, because each layer has a certain functionality. That is the first point. Functionality. Each layer has some specific function to perform. Okay, that is the first point. Each layer has a certain function. And second thing is, each layer provides services to the layer above it. That means service. It provides service to the layer above it. Third one is, the functionality should be according to the standards, ISO standards. Okay, so that means functionality should be according to standards. Okay, that is the third one. Okay, so layer purpose is to provide a functionality, and the functionality should not be more than one functionality should not be assigned to a layer. More than one functionality should not be given to a layer. That means if you want a new functionality, then create a new layer. Okay, more than one functionality should not be given to a layer. Should not be given to a layer. And if you want a new functionality, create a layer. So creating a layer. Okay, for each abstraction. Creating a layer for each abstraction. So these are the different properties of the layer. So each layer should be unique. That means it should only serve one functionality, and it should provide services to the layers above it, and its function should be according to some standards, and more than one functionality should not be given to a layer. That means whenever you want to a new functionality, and create a layer above it. So this is about the different layers. So each layer, so here physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, like that, every layer is performing one particular function and one particular activity. Okay, so this is about the OSI layer. Now we will see the data link layer. Now we will see the TCP/IP reference model. Okay, second one is TCP/IP reference model. Okay, so TCP/IP reference model. Here, different layers. There is no physical layer. Link layer. Internet layer, transport layer, there is no session and presentation. Application layer. Okay, so there is no physical, there is no session, and there is no presentation layer. So totally only 4 layers we have in TCP/IP. Whereas in case of OSI we have 7 layers. So physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. So totally 7 layers we have in case of OSI. So this is OSI and this is TCP/IP. TCP/IP. So link layer. So here link layer means data link layer. So internet is equivalent to network layer functionality in OSI, and transport layer purpose is same as in the OSI layer. That is end-to-end transmission is there in case of transport layer. And finally application layer. That is this application layer. So here also it support different protocols like HTTP, RTP, real-time transfer protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, simple mail transfer protocol. Okay, so these are the different protocols supported at the application layer. Okay, so this is about the TCP/IP and OSI reference mode. So link layer is equivalent to data link layer. So where here purpose is same. Error control in case of data link layer, and internet layer is used for routing, and transport layer is for end-to-end connectivity. Transport layer is for the end-to-end connectivity. So totally we have 4 layers in case of TCP/IP, whereas 7 layers in case of OSI. So what is the criticisms? So there are what is the similarities and what are the differences in between these two? So first, the similarity is, so even though the layers which present in TCP/IP are link, internet, transport, and application, so their functionality is almost close to those respective layers in the OSI. So that is a similarity. And criticism is OSI is basically it's developed after the protocols. Before protocols first for TCP protocols were developed, then TCP/IP reference model were developed. Whereas for OSI the model was developed, okay, then the protocols were developed. So that is the difference between the OSI and TCP/IP. That is one of the difference. So first protocols were developed in case of TCP/IP, whereas in case of OSI, first the OSI model was developed, then protocols were developed later on. Okay, so that is one of the difference between the TCP/IP and OSI layers. Next is with respect to timing, bad timing, bad implementation. Okay, so bad timing and bad implementation. So these are the factors. So if you see the bad timing, so this is the activity and this is time. Okay, activity and so this is a diagram. So from this diagram we can conclude that so in between the standards were developed. So this is in corporate and this is in research. Okay, so this is the standard which developed. So normally what happens is initially there will be huge research on a topic, whatever topic we take. So there will be huge research on a topic. Then then it will goes down. So it will goes down and standards will be developed, and again more money will be put into the put by the corporate. So like that, this is the actual diagram which is followed. It is followed at that time. So what happens is, in case of OSI, the standard the research was going on at that time. That means protocols were not at all completely developed. So research was developed. So that is one of the point here which we wants to note down. So research is happening, but the standard is not at all developed. So that is one of the drawback. Whereas in case of TCP/IP, so the sufficient research was happened. Okay, sufficient research was happened in case of TCP/IP. So the diagram is equally well for it. So TCP/IP, that is comes under the bad timing. So that is one of the important point which we can note down here. Okay, so that is one difference between the TCP/IP and OSI. So bad timing. So that is these are the two elephants. So these are two elephants. So in between the standard is there. So this is another example which we can note it down. And coming to the bad politics also there. Okay. So these are the three comparison between OSI and TCP/IP. So another comparison is, in case of OSI, all these 7 layers are present, but majority of the work is being done in network and data link, whereas minor or very little work is done by presentation and session. Okay, so only these two nodes are overwhelmed, whereas these two are lightly worked. So that means the layers are not fully functional. Okay, so even though there is a little work, so we cannot in here in TCP/IP, so in OSI, so we cannot call it as a layers. So here in case of TCP/IP, link is not a layer. Link is not a layer, but it is a interface. Okay, it is slopy to interface. So it is slopy to layer. So it is just an interface. It is not actually as full-fledged layer. So that is one disadvantage in TCP/IP. But here the disadvantage is only the majority of the load is being performed by the data link and network. Okay, whereas presentation and session, very little work is being done in these layers. Okay, that is one thing. And in TCP/IP, link is not actually a layer. It is not a full-fledged layer. It is just an interface. That is one difference. And another thing is, there is no exact difference between services, interfaces, and protocol. These three are not exactly differentiated in TCP/IP. So services, interfaces, and protocol. Because each layer should be unique and it should have its own functionality. So that is not actually happening in case of TCP/IP. That is a problem. Okay, so there is no exact definition for these services, interface, and protocols in case of TCP/IP. And bad politics. So what is meant by bad politics means, so at that time TCP/IP was already into the market. So it is first released into the market. Okay, so according to the standards or protocols developed at that time. Whereas OSI was developed without any intention. That means only the layers are full-fledged, and it is USA, so that is European Union. Okay, so that is support is OSI. So that is what is present in bad politics. Okay, that is about the OSI and TCP/IP. Okay, and so like this we can ensure that the layers about the physical data link network have an end-to-end connection, whereas physical data link and network has a subnet, and the packets goes through the subnet to the receiver. Okay, and one more criticism in OSI is the repeated functionality. That means if you see error control, and flow control, so these terms are here in every layer. Like in transport layer also flow control is there, and in data link also flow control is there. Okay, so that means repeatedly the same functionality is being happening in different layers in OSI. That is another criticism in OSM. So this is about the criticisms and similarities and differences between the OSI and the TCP. Okay, thank you.